is that 75% of the members of all history departments in America are not members of the AHA. So one of our questions is, why are they not members of the AHA? And what is it that we are doing right or wrong that may or may not affect their decisions? Excuse me?
I'm just shocked.
So what is it is pretty shocking. The good news is that the AHA, as I understand it at least, is in fundamentally healthy condition. There is a balanced budget. There is a slight increase in membership in aggregate over the years. There is a sense of staff uniformity and direction and of coherence in what's going on, and the administrative structure of the AHA is very much a functioning entity. On the other hand, we clearly face a number of problems. Why do so many people who join the AHA as graduate students, when they're on the job market, basically leave the AHA thereafter? Why do we have such a turnover of membership year to year? Why are we not making a greater appeal to people who are, in fact, people of with great interest in history, but who are not members of our association, nor do they come to our meetings? We have had this category of public history, which we basically think is not a good category, because essentially it is a rubric under which there are a whole series of individual constituencies. We need to be much more effective at addressing individually and discreetly rather than as part of some kind of conglomerate. We are very aware of the degree to which most of the people who are teaching high levels of history to Americans in the population are not in any way being addressed by the AHA. All the AP teachers in the country who are really carrying much of the burden, all the community college teachers in the country who are teaching much of our history. How do we then reach out to create different kinds of programs that will speak to those needs and those concerns? How do we craft an approach to those people that will make them feel part of the AHA, but will also recognize the degree to which they are not the same as teachers at four-year colleges or research universities? I guess above all, the question of how do we provide services from the AHA that speak to the kinds of audiences that we want to become affiliated with and we want to have engaged in our activities. That in turn brings us to the whole issue of communications, to the whole question of whether the AHR or perspectives are in fact doing what they should be doing. How do we then use the internet? How do we enter the world of the bloggers? How do we make the way in which we communicate with our potential constituencies ways that also are helpful to the ongoing well-being of the organization in terms of things like having advertising associated with blogs and things like that, so that we are basically entering the 21st century full scale rather than still using so many of the techniques and attitudes of the last century. So I think those are some of the questions that we had before us as we had our first meeting and series of email communications back and forth.